This is a CBC News special report.
Good morning, Canada, and welcome to CBC's National Report.
Today, we will give Canadians a look on the critical issues surrounding women and how they are portrayed in the political media. We will specifically discuss the position of women in political power and how the ideas and depictions of mainstream media transfer over to the media of politics.
In mainstream media, we often see women being hypersexualized. We see this in pop culture and in many Hollywood films.
Girls get the message from very early on that what's most important is how they look, that their value, their worth depends on that. And boys get the message that this is what's important about girls. We get it from advertising, we get it from films, we get it from television shows, video games, everywhere we look. So no matter what else a woman does, no matter what else her achievements, their value still depends on how they look.
As women, what we look like and what we wear often communicates to the world who we are as intellects and what we are capable as humans. From 1993 to 2011, women comprised 20% of the House of Commons. Women are over 50% of Canada's population, and this is a low representation of women in the political sphere of our government. Next, we will be looking at comparable stats with the United States of America. It is essential knowledge that Cuba, China, Iraq, and Afghanistan have more women in politics than the US and Canada.
As one of the most powerful countries in the world, the people of the United States elect their national leadership from a demographic that only includes 6% of the overall population. We are deemed as unfit to hold power because what we look like is being so closely scrutinized that people forget to consider what we offer as intellectual beings. This is extremely limiting to a large percentage of the overall population. Currently, only 25% of Canada's municipal councils, provincial legislatures, and House of Commons is made up of women. These are shockingly unbalanced numbers considering that 50% of the population is made up of women. Due to these shockingly unbalanced numbers, it is necessary to assume that it is much more difficult for a woman to become involved in Canadian politics, and she faces much more obstacles than her male counterparts.
CBC will now be hitting the streets and asking Canadians their thoughts and opinions about women in politics and what comes to their minds when they think of women in power.
Hello, so we're discussing the women in politics. What can I say? Currently, modern world provides all of the kind of rights for the women to be really known in politics, but unfortunately, in some countries and some well-developed countries and not that much developed countries, we can see a lack of rights for the women. So, what should I say about that topic? That it would be nice if you men will remember that women are also persons and they can have their ideas, their minds, and they can really do some really good stuff for this world. And probably they are more sincere than you sometimes. So please allow them to show up themselves.
Well, it's the same thing as when we see somebody for the first time. We'll always judge them first by their looks, and after that we'll listen to what they are saying. And my best example is Mrs. May, Elizabeth May. She is not the prettiest woman, but she is very smart and she has very steadfast opinions.
No appreciation for women intellectuals. It's all about the body, not about the brain.
You all saw the famous photo from the weekend of Hillary looking so haggard and looking like 92 years old.
Breast implants. Did you have them or not? Because that's all over the internet about you in mainstream media.
I think if you waterboarded Nancy Pelosi, she wouldn't admit to plastic surgery.
The fact that media are so limiting and so derogatory to the most powerful women in the country, then what does it say about media's ability to take any woman in America seriously?
You get a woman in the Oval Office, most powerful person in the world, what's the downside?
You mean besides the PMS and the mood swing?
If democracy is genuine and an equal partnership between men and women, why are women in power are mainly evaluated based on their exterior qualities?
There have been many cases of Canadian women who hold political power who have been exceedingly judged on things on their exterior as opposed to what they bring to the table as intellectual politicians. There are three main examples of women in political power who have been specifically scrutinized on things that have nothing to do with their value as politicians and leaders in this country. So these women are Rona Ambrose, Alexa McDonough, and Belinda Stronach. Rona Ambrose, Conservative MP, received extraordinary publicity that focused on her beauty rather than any element of her capacity to represent her constituency or work as an MP. Also, former NDP leader Alexa McDonough was sometimes judged for wearing the same dress on multiple occasions, with magazines featuring headlines such as Alexa McDonough, Collier Dry Cleaner. Belinda Stronach's run against Stephen Harper for the leadership of the Conservative Party in 2004 was labeled Blonde Ambition. Stronach later attracted more press for dyeing her hair brown and dating Ty Domi than for her actual accomplishments in politics or in business. In this exclusive interview, we had the chance to hear from a member from the Head Start for Women campaign. This campaign addresses issues that involve women in politics and initiates solutions to encourage more women to become involved in our political society.
So I'm part of a group called Head Start for Young Women. It's an Ottawa-based program, and it works with young girls and women of all ages, actually, and we seek to empower them in their community. So one of the things that I noticed when I was going in to do these workshops with the young girls was that they were not confident at all, especially when we had groups with guys and girls. The girls were less likely to raise their hands for fear of looking silly in front of their male counterparts, or looking dumb, or the opposite, looking too smart than like know-it-alls, and they didn't want to show off that they knew what they were talking about. One of the activities that we do is we have them look through magazines and media images, and we ask them if they think that this is a portrayal of women in a negative or positive light. And 9 times out of 10, they find that these women are objectified for their bodies rather than their political stance or what they have to say. And this really negatively impacts the girls, and you can see it when they're talking about it and how they think it's unfair that males are more valued in society for their opinions over women. And I think this translates into the classroom as well, when they're hesitant to speak up, or they don't want to give their opinion, and they're scared of what other people are going to think or how they look in a classroom setting when they're like 12 years old. One time there was a girl, and she put up her hand and she seriously asked me, is it legal for a female to run for Prime Minister? And she was completely serious about this. She had no idea that this opportunity was equal to both men and women, and I just thought that was really sad that in 2015 we still have young girls in Canada who feel that they are lesser than males, and they maybe can't fill the role of a leader in our modern society.
In order to get one step closer to true equality, the way that women are represented in the media needs to change.
This special report has identified an important issue facing Canadian women in politics. As a society, we must reevaluate how women are valued.
The media reflects the views of our society, and we can use this tool to communicate the change that we want to see.
Thank you for watching this special report.
And have a great day, Ottawa.